going to share with us and a devotion before we get our other speaker. So thank you so much, Christy, for sharing your heart with us.
Yeah.
Good morning, ladies. I am Christy Pitson, if you don't know me. And first, let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for today, and thank you for all you've given us. Thank you for each and every one of these women here, Lord. Thank you for them being here today. It's nothing short of a miracle for everyone to get out in the cold with the kids and get here. I pray that our hearts and our minds are open to receive your word, and I pray that you speak through me, Lord, to minister to these women and deliver your message. I pray that hearts will be softened today, and that you will move in this room. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. I am going to share a little bit of my story because this topic is near and dear to my heart. But first, let's visit a story in the Bible. So in Daniel chapter 3, we meet Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And I'm just going to paraphrase their story instead of reading the whole thing. So King Nebuchadnezzar built a gold idol and wanted everyone to worship it. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow down to the idol. When the king asked why, they said they didn't have to defend themselves to him. Furious, King Nebuchadnezzar ordered the fire 7 times hotter than usual, and for the 3 men to be thrown in. And then after they were thrown in the fire, lo and behold, the king saw 4 men walking around in the furnace, and the 4th one looked like the Son of God. The king called the men out who walked out unscathed. God was with them in the fire. These men stayed the course. They were able to seek God in the fire and come out refined. If we seek him in the fire, he will come alongside us and stay with us through the fires of life. I'm going to share our fire that we went through in our marriage and how God helped us come out on the other side, victorious and refined by the fire. So my husband and I are a success story. We met at Auburn, and dated for about 4 years. And we were almost a statistic. We almost got a divorce in year 1 of our marriage. And it was bad. It was really, really bad. And I'm not going to go into the dirty details, but I told him I wanted a divorce, and he started me with papers. And listen, y'all, I never signed them. I just didn't sign them. And I went to find my own lawyer, and this is unbelievable, but I swear this is a true story. The divorce lawyer I went to see right by Sal's Pizza told me to go home and fix my marriage. I swear to you, if that was God speaking to me during the fire. That was God speaking to me during the fire, saying, don't quit while you are in the fire. I am still working on you. And I didn't take the lawyer's advice immediately, but I still didn't have a lawyer. So it was a really bad few months, and no one would have known from the outside. Jonathan and I were falling apart in perfect privacy. And I know that's how and where marriages fall apart, in the secluded walls of your house. It's a very private matter until it's not, and then everyone that you love is affected by it. So if you're hurting today, there is hope. So we started talking about co-parenting, raising our one son, and divided our time. We even went through the entire house and said, this goes with who, and luckily we were both too stubborn to move out. And one day, and I remember it so well, I just thought, what the heck are we doing? And I asked Jonathan if he wanted to go to a concert with me, and he was like, are you kidding? We're getting a divorce. Like, why are we going to go out on a date? And I was like, well, I was thinking maybe we shouldn't. And that was the moment that God appeared to us in our marriage and turned everything around. So we went to the concert, and we didn't even have a great time. He backed my car into a pole, and we decided, hey, let's give this another shot. And from that day on, we buckled down and worked so hard on our marriage. And it wasn't even bad, horrible work, but it was still work. To go to the counselor, you have to get a sitter and pay an obscene amount of money. It takes time, energy, and intention. We did Thrive through Brownsbridge, which is an eight-week intensive marriage study. We saw the counselor together and separately. We listened to sermons, and I listened to tons of audiobooks in the car. We laid in bed together at night and did the Love Dare and read the Bible together and prayed together. To get through this fire, we had to seek God. But one point I want to emphasize is working on your marriage starts with you. If your husband doesn't want to do counseling or the Love Dare, that's fine. You start it. You go to counseling. You'll be amazed at how if you change, it will spill over into your marriage and your spouse. Now, I'm not going to stand up here and tell you I have a perfect marriage. That is impossible because we are two imperfect people. Of course, we fight and disagree. We have our highs and lows, but I can tell you that we have a great marriage, and our marriage is much healthier than it would have been had we not gone through our fires. And there is your hope. I'm going to share a few practical things that work for us to get our marriage back on track. The biggest thing we did to save our marriage was to take the D word off the table. We don't even say it. I cringe when I hear it, and please don't joke about it. Please don't say, we're going to get a divorce and my husband keeps leaving his towels on the floor. Like my old neighbor used to always say, my wife's going to divorce me if I cut down a tree. Like, it's not a joke, guys. Like, when you take the D word off the table, it's not an option, no matter what. You don't have that card in your back pocket for bailing out or finding the next Mr. Right. It's a real convenient plan B when things get hard and the fire gets hot. The devil wants to separate us, y'all. He wants to tear us apart. Don't let him. The grass is not greener. The devil wants you to believe that. Not today, Satan. Also, you don't need a catastrophe or to be on the brink of divorce to work on your marriage. Because remember, if you're not coming together, then you're drifting apart. A marriage cannot survive forever on leftovers. It needs to be fed continually, or it will eventually starve. Your marriage may not be in crisis mode, so one thing you do is just listen to marriage sermons together. Like keep the love dare by your bed. You do that a few nights a week or once every couple weeks, and go on a date. Don't let money be an excuse. Find a friend to swap kids with. Last week, my sister-in-law came over at around 2, and my husband and I went to Topgolf and ate, and then we watched their kids while they went to dinner and a movie. And yes, Topgolf and movies are expensive. You can go hike Sony, walk around Costco. You can go to Fritos Taco Tuesday. There's Margaret. There's tons of inexpensive date ideas if you get creative. Don't let excuses get in the way of strengthening your marriage. One other tidbit that I have to implement is called the first 5. So this is when your husband gets home from work, spend the first 5 minutes talking without the kids. Do what you need to do to make this work. Park them in front of the TV, send them to their room, stick them in a high chair with Cheerios, whatever it may be. There will be a huge learning curve for the kids because they will be appalled and offended that they are not the center of attention. But stick to your guns. Both you and your husband deserve some uninterrupted time for adult conversation when he gets home. It's amazing how 5 minutes a day of being intentional and putting each other first can change your marriage. All this stuff is not painstaking work, it's fun with huge rewards. One other recent trial or fire that we have been working through, and I feel like it's super relatable, is competing for the one who works the hardest badge. Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning in diapers while he is out eating lunch with his friends and laughing and having a heyday at work. But we all know this isn't really the case for our husbands, but it's easy to start thinking like that. One thing that has helped me reframe how we think about being at home with the kids is as a good friend Becky put it, to think of them as that our husbands are missing out. We are the ones who get the snuggles before naps and get the special time with the kids and get to do puzzles. Our husbands are at work working hard to give the kids the gift of their mom. When I show respect, acknowledgement, and gratitude for his hard work, when I show Jonathan respect, acknowledgement, and gratitude for his hard work, he usually notices my efforts too. Not always, but sometimes. As Jen Hatmaker said in her devotional book, Out of the Spin Cycle, we aren't competing for who works the hardest. We work differently. We are a team. It's not a contest or a war. We are on the same side. And this really boils down to the golden rule. Treat him how you want to be treated. And yes, you may scrape cereal off the floor, have to put wrestling moves on your kid to buckle them into their car seat, and play princess for the umpteenth time today without as much as a nod from your husband, but stay the course and seek God in the fire. Dole out enormous amounts of love and respect to your husband to live out the golden rule. When you put the kids to bed at night, rave about your husband and tell them what an amazing man he is. Sing his accolades, even if he doesn't deserve them, or if it might make his head explode. Love him how you want to be loved, and we will all make it through the fire. I feel like I'm called to share a little of my story and to give people hope and guidance. I would rather not get up here and divulge these things, but God has moved in my life, and it's my mission to help people seek God in their marriage and make it through the fire. Sometimes God moves in uncomfortable moments when we step out of our comfort zone. He doesn't help us overcome trials just to sit silently while others are going through a similar fire. Y'all, I have been through the fire and it sucked so bad, but I made it through. So please don't stop in the fire. Seek God. God refines us in the fires of life. Accept the assignment of refinement and don't quit. I am here today to give you hope in the spiritual and mental sense, and I'm also here to give you real-life applications and resources. I have some resources on marriage on the screen. Feel free to take a picture of them, and I'll put them on Facebook, and please add to them. I know that everybody probably has some really good marriage resources. And I put my counselor's information up there because obviously I highly recommend her, but she's super expensive, but cheaper than the D word. So now, before we transition, I want everyone to pull out your phones and send your husband a sweet, encouraging text telling him how much you love him.